common denominator in all these three cases, the moral versus the practical, reason versus emotion, concepts versus perception? What is common beside the fact that they're all variants of the mind-body dichotomy? I'm just afraid to ask you because you give me the wrong answer, you're going to derail me altogether. The crow epistemology will set in and they'll lose everything. All right, try. What do you say? No. That's why I'd rather do it myself. He said life versus philosophy, and in a way, but that's not the point that I'm after. You want to try? Yes.
I think that people are willing to be inconsistent, and they refuse to make everything consistent. They won't work on it.
No, that is not my point either. Let me tell you my point, and then you could tell me yours afterwards. I would say in all three cases, it seems to the person that there is a conflict between the internal and the external, between the inner world and the outer. It's your own standards versus the uncontrolled world of other people. So therefore, you can't be sure that your own standards will lead to success. Or it's your standards versus uncontrolled responses thrust on you. Or your standards, your inner proper method versus uncontrolled facts that leap out at you and smash your standard. So it seems to people as though the alternative is have your own standards, remain in inner control of your life by means of cutting off, minimizing, turning away from the external, or give in to the external, conform to it, and therefore abandon your own inner integrity and standards. That would mean have moral standards, give up the quest for practicality. Have rational self-supervision, give up feeling. Have logic and conceptual system in your thought, forget about facts. Or take the other side. Deal with practical situations, feelings, facts as they come up, but do it without method, standards, or your own inner control. Now you see, this is a terrible dilemma. If you have any part of it, a really terrible dilemma. And unfortunately, most people cannot put it together. Now we could summarize the results of people's choices as follows. Make a chart if you're taking notes. On top of one side, one column, write mind or soul. I don't care what you call it. On the other, write body. And then there would be three columns going across. Action, feeling, thought. So you're going to have a little, 6 boxes. Mind, and then under it, what action, feeling, thought, and the other side, body, etc. And this is the terms I would give to summarize the choices that people make if they feel they must make this dichotomy. On the mind side, under action, if the person chooses, in other words, morality, chooses principles, ideals, he will come out, let us say, a tortured idealist. Put that down. There's no one word that I can find in this case for an idealist who's tortured. So we have to use 2 words. On the other hand, the body side, there is a word for. If you make the choice of practicality over morality, what are you? There's a special name in philosophy for that. A pragmatist, right. That's what a pragmatist is. Now under feeling, if you choose the mind side, in other words, you say, I'm going to remain in control. I'm not having any truck with these things that are thrust on me that I can't control. What is a good name for the feeling division under the mind side, a repressor. And that's either ER or OR, according to your choice. The repressor. And if you choose the body side, you say to hell with logic and standards, I have feelings and I'm going to act on them, and that's it. Well, you could call it a hedonist, but there's a better name because a hedonist is just for pleasure. But we're taking in general emotions of any kind as a primary here. Call it an emotionalist. That's the best name, right? An emotionalist. Now, on the thought side, if you're on the mind side and you cling to concepts at the price of facts, that we've already said, that is a rationalist. And there is the opposite in philosophy too, under the body side. If you cling to facts and are scornful of concepts, who knows what that's called? Empiricist. E-M-P. I-R. Here. I-C-I-S-T. Empiricist. Now you can tell these types, I think. You can see them all over the place. Now, of these three dichotomies, all forms of the inner versus the outer, the one I regard as the most basic, which one would you think I regard as the most basic? Well, I think thought is more basic than feeling or action. So I think that the real dichotomy here is rationalism versus empiricism. The others, to some extent, take care of themselves if we grasp that issue. Now, if you think that you have any part of this problem on either side of the dichotomy in any one of these divisions, the chances are very strong that you succumb to rationalism or empiricism in some way.